of Kilmar Albrego Garcia, a Salvadoran man who was deported against a judge's order. The Trump administration blamed an administrative error at the time and then brought new charges against him after bringing him back to the United States. Albrego Garcia is trying to get those charges dismissed for vindictive and selective prosecution. Now, in a newly unsealed ruling, District Judge Waverly Crenshaw writes that the prosecutor in the case may not have made the decision to indict alone, but instead may have been working with others in Washington who, quote, may or may not have acted with improper motivation. Shortly, I'm going to be speaking to Senator Chris Van Hollen. I'm joined now by CNN senior justice correspondent Em Perez, as well as CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor himself, Elie Honig. Evan, first to you, because reading through this judge's filing here, it seems to be that he's identifying not just pressure on those prosecutors in Tennessee, but also questioning the timing of these charges.
That's right, Jim. I mean, the government has been claiming that this was the decision to bring these trafficking charges against Kilmar Albrego Garcia, that they were made locally and had no interference or no involvement from the bosses here in Washington. And that's not what this judge says appears to be the case. And so what the judge is asking for, or the judge is ordering here, is essentially a way for Albrego Garcia's attorneys to get more insight into exactly what was happening here at Justice Department's headquarters, especially in Todd Blanche, the Office of the Deputy Attorney General, where, according to this judge, there was communication going back and forth suggesting that Blanche was pressuring and saying how these charges against Albrego was important to the Deputy Attorney General. So one of the things that this exposes the government to is the internal deliberations, which judges tend to have a difficult time breaching, right? Judges tend to give the government the benefit of the doubt as to when they decide to bring criminal charges. And so these types of motions from a defense, the vindictive prosecution, typically don't go very far. But we've seen in a number of cases, including this one, and of course in the case against Jim Comey and Letitia James, where judges are taking a second look and saying, we want to see more about what the government did to bring these cases. And so we don't know yet. There's going to be a big hearing in January where a lot of this could come to play for the government as to whether or not this case even survives, Jim.
Mm-hmm. Elie, you've been criticizing the prosecution of this case for some time. You wrote recently that if you ever want to piss off a judge, your words, I recommend overstating your case, in effect saying that that's what prosecutors have done here for some time. But tell us the importance of this finding.
Yeah, Jim, wise advice to fellow prosecutors and former prosecutors out there. So the timing is really important here. First of all, Kilmar Albrego was wrongly deported to El Salvador. He had what's called a withholding order in place saying that while he did not have legal status in the United States, he could not be sent to that one country. The administration messed up. They sent him to that one country. Kilmar Albrego Garcia then challenged that in the courts and was largely successful. Now, the allegation is that after that, he was indicted, and Kilmar Albrego Garcia's team is now saying, well, he was only indicted as vindictiveness, as payback for having defeated the administration in the courts on the immigration issue. And what the judge said today is there appears to be, based on documents that the judge has seen and we have not seen, there appears to be something to that. There appears to have been involvement by bosses in DOJ with the decision to charge Kilmar Albrego Garcia. Now, there's nothing wrong with the bosses in DOJ being involved in a decision to bring charges, but the theory here, and the judge said there's something to it, is that there's some evidence that the motivation for charging him criminally was to get back at him for the immigration case. And if that's the case, then he will have a very strong motion to dismiss based on vindictive prosecution.
We'll be following closely. Evan Perez, Elie Honig, thanks so much. Joining me now in the arena, Maryland Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen, who, of course, met with Albrego Garcia in El Salvador when he was being held earlier this year and has been in touch with him since. Senator, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you, Jim.
So reading this judge's finding here, do you see this as evidence that this was a political prosecution?
Very much so. This looks to me like a smoking gun against the administration, making the point that this was a vindictive prosecution. As you were just discussing, the Justice Department decided to bring these charges against him because he asserted his due process rights when they illegally shipped him off to CCOT in El Salvador. So yes, this looks like another example of the Trump administration, but sometimes manipulating the facts, here bringing a vindictive case against Abrego Garcia.
I wonder how Abrego Garcia has been receiving all this news and these developments. I know you spoke with him recently. What's his view of the state of the process and what happens next for him?
Well, he and his wife Jennifer are glad that he got back to the United States, despite the fact that the Trump administration said he would never set foot on U.S. soil again. He's glad to be in the court system where he's afforded due process, which is what this case has been about all along from my perspective. And he's still hopeful that he'll get a fair shot in the courts, despite the fact that the Trump administration has been lying to the courts about this case. I mean, you recall that there was a whistleblower complaint. A longtime attorney for the Justice Department was fired, let go, he says, because he refused to misrepresent facts to the court in this Abrego Garcia case. So this is a case where the Trump administration has lied to the courts and now evidence that they just concocted or brought a vindictive prosecution.
To Ellie and Evan's point, prior, they mentioned the cases against Letitia James, against James Comey, where you have had judges question, right, the merits, in effect, of several of these prosecutions. I wonder, from where you're sitting, do you see the court system and judges providing a check, in effect, on the DOJ and the president as they pursue these prosecutions, which you and others have called political?
Yes, I do think the courts, especially the federal district courts, but in this case, in the Abrego Garcia case, you also had that 9-0 decision from the Supreme Court saying the Trump administration had to facilitate his return to the United States. You and I know we don't see very many 9-0 decisions out of the Supreme Court, and a Reagan court appointee at the circuit court level said this was a textbook case of violating someone's due process. So this is one where the administration from day one, as I said, has lied, tried to cheat, and now try to bring a vindictive prosecution against him simply for asserting his constitutional rights.
Now, to date, when this administration and the DOJ, for that matter, have run into brick walls, they've taken another